Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle interview show. And I have somebody incredibly special with me today. She's coming all the way to us from the beautiful Gold Coast of Australia, and she is bringing some seriously amazing wisdom when it comes to how to activate your soul purpose, how to find what it is you're looking for in life. And what I love about what Anna T. Brooks is going to bring you guys, because you're going to absolutely love her. She's amazing. But what I love about it is she talks so much about morning routines, but how to set yourself up for success. And I love the fact that she says, throw them out, get rid of them, because what's going to make you successful that day is going to be unique to you, unique to your day, and unique to exactly what's going on. It is a brilliant, brilliant concept, and I'm so happy to share it with you. Welcome to the show, Anna.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
Thank you so much, Michael.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, I mean, you're the one who's. What time is it for you right now, Anna? Because it's in the morning for you right now.
It's just after 9 a.m., so
Okay.
we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Not too bad.
I've had
Not
my
too bad.
morning routine down pat already.
There we go. Okay, so because when you and I talked, you were referencing this idea that so many people get into these zombie routines where they're just doing their thing and everything else. So, you can see I've got doggy treats off to the side here because I've got a dog background. You can see them in my shot. There, get those out of the way. Um, and what I love that you talked about this, because I think so many people get wrapped up in this idea of they have to have this person's routine or they've got to have this person's routine. And you did something a little bit different when it comes to this. So before we dive into exactly how you do it, walk us a little bit through how you found it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been obsessed with morning routines since I can remember. I
Okay.
was one of those kids that was literally into Tony Robbins from like the age of 10 or something like that. It was just a stupid early age. And so from that, I started to learn about things like, like priming yourself, getting yourself set up for the day and kind of getting
Sure.
yourself into the right energy and mindset and all of these kinds of things. And for the longest time, I was sort of going through these motions myself. I was learning from, the really, really big names like Tony Robbins, like, learning about the 5 a.m. club and your miracle morning and all these things.
Yeah.
And I was implementing them all. I was doing them all.
All of
And
them.
I was all of them. Not necessarily at the same time, but
Okay.
definitely all of them at some stage.
You've
And
put on all of those outfits is what you're getting at. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. And for a long time as well, I started to kind of pick and choose a little bit. I found, okay, this maybe works for me, and then this maybe works for me, and I'd kind of start to make it a bit more personalized, but
Mm-hmm.
still it felt like I was just starting to go through the motions of things. I was just getting up and doing my journaling because I had to do my journaling. I was
Okay.
just going and doing my exercise because that was the thing that I needed that morning, or then I got into meditation and I was just meditating because it was the thing that I needed to do, apparently. And I found that it wasn't actually having any real impact on my day. Like, there was
Oh,
some days where it was great and it was really
yeah.
working. And then other days where it was like, I don't know what I just spent that hour on. I don't feel any different.
Isn't that
And
fascinating?
mm,
Like Anna, that's so brilliant, because I think a lot of people get totally trapped, don't they? And you, I mean, you coach this
mm,
stuff now, but they
yeah,
get completely trapped in this idea that I have to do this thing because this is what Tony told me to do, and I'm going to keep doing it because this is what Tony does. But as you said, like, you're doing it and you're not getting anything out of it, right?
exactly.
Like, I
Yeah,
think to myself, you don't get that hour back.
exactly. Yep. Yep. Lost you for a moment, Michael.
Oh, there she is. Are you back? I don't know whether it was mine or yours, but I lost you for a sec there.
Oh, there you go. Yep. No, we're good. We're good.
Um, yeah, and I was going to ask you. So you're putting on these different practices. Was it like a
Mm.
moment of revelation, Anna? Was it something that kind of hit you, or was it something that was growing over time? Do you think?
It was entirely accidental.
Oh,
That I was just kind of going along, and then one day it kind of hit me that, oh, you know what, this is probably not helpful. I'd gone through, I think that morning it was a It was more of like a gentle sort of morning where I'd done some meditation. I'd done a little bit of like very, very flow based journaling, not anything like really hectic and lots of affirmations or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt really relaxed. I felt really calm, and I had an interview scheduled that day. And so sure enough, in the morning after all of this, I jumped on and did my interview. And I remember just thinking, this isn't working. I don't feel like I really had anything of value to say. Like, I know I had things of value to say, but I
Right.
don't feel like I delivered them in a way that was really helpful. I didn't
Okay.
feel really switched on. I didn't feel really connected. And then I realized, I'm like, why is it
Mm.
that on other days this works so well, and yet today this just didn't work? And it was that sort of accident that I realized, well, how did I set myself up this morning? I was very slow. I was very feminine. I was very much in my inner world and taking my time. And then I showed up to deliver something probably very similar to this on like morning routines or structure or something. And my energy was completely off.
Ah,
And that was the moment that it hit me that, you know what, I didn't use my morning routine to set myself up for the day I'm about to have. I was
oh,
just doing things because I was used to doing them.
okay. And so that uncorked this idea, as it were, of going, okay,
Mm,
right now I like this is what I've got to try and sort of develop a routine that's more based on what I want to accomplish
yeah.
today, right?
Hmm.
Than just generic morning routine.
Yeah, exactly. That was when it just kind of hit that, you know what, I don't need the same morning routine every single day. I
Mm,
actually need different things based on what my day is going to include. Like, for sure, there were times in my life that I was doing very similar things day by day. And so in
sure.
that case, having some kind of really routine type morning routine would be awesome. But now, and the way that my life evolves and the way that my clients' lives evolve, honestly, is especially because I work with so many entrepreneurs and like
Yeah.
small business owners and business growth owners, you know, their days are very varied. They have days when they're just go, go, go and jumping around all over the place doing things. And then they have days where they just need to be in on themselves, creating, just really moving that needle forward. And in doing so, they're in completely different stage. They're in doing something completely different, and they therefore need to set themselves up in a different way.
Mm, I love it. You know, and it's funny that you mentioned entrepreneurs on it because I think a lot of them are looking for an edge. Like a lot of them are
Mm,
looking for some, like entrepreneurship is hard. And I don't mean that in the sense of like you shouldn't manifest hard. It's just tough. Like there's a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of balls in the air. There's a lot of different hats you've got to wear. It is like building a company, launching a product, selling it to people, making it profitable. Like it's one thing to launch a product, as you know, and like get by. It's another thing to make it profitable and then make it really profitable. Like these aren't skills that we learn in school. These aren't
mm,
even things that you can really learn in college or university, to be honest. It's the
yeah.
school of hard knocks and grinding away at it and figuring out what's going to work for you and that particular product and that particular company. And so it's not an easy gig. So tell me what the value is to getting a great morning routine in place that's adaptable. Like I love that you adapt these, right? What's the value to the entrepreneur? Because I think they have a tough time finding an edge and they need one.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's honestly where the edge is in being adaptable.
Mm,
Because if you're still stuck in that mindset of, well, I just need to find the ultimate morning routine and then I'm just going to do that for the rest of my life, and that's what's going to get me through, and then you base it on, you know, these huge figures that say this is my morning routine or this is my morning
right,
routine, and you
right.
think that therefore if it's working for them, it's going to have to work for me. If you're not adaptable, you just keep hitting your head against the wall because you're basically trying to get into somebody else's energy of what works for them, and it's not compatible with you. It's not compatible with your goals. It's not compatible with what it is that you're actually trying to create.
Hmm.
That actually needs to be very personalized. That needs to be based on your energy type, how you work, what are your goals, what are you setting yourself up for, what do you require out of yourself every single day, and that's going to be unique and different for every single person. There's going to be commonalities for sure between a lot of
Mm,
business growth and a lot of entrepreneurs. There's going to be some things that keep coming up, like needing to obviously be creative, be inspired, to be able to take action, to trust yourself, to follow through. These are kind of common themes that are going to stand the test of time. But in terms of how that actually looks for you and how that means you show up every single day, that's going to be different. And that means that your morning routine needs to be adapted to what it is that your actual goal is. So it's something I always say is like, when you're setting your morning routine, start with the goal in mind. So start with, okay, what do I need out of myself today? What do I require of myself today? And then what am I going to do that's going to set myself up for that in this particular day? And it's so important to ask that question of, what am I going to do? Because it's not, what would Tony do? What would so-and-so do? What would anything? It's, what do I need to, be really high vibe, be really energetic, be really communicative, or to be really slowed down, to be really tapped in, to be really intuitive and going inside today. Whatever it is, what do I need is the question that comes out.
I love that. Okay, so then when you're working with a client, because Anna, you've been coaching people for nearly a decade. She's helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs and business owners get phenomenal results in what it is they do. And a big chunk of it, as you and I've talked about, is based on this, like, establishing these adaptable morning routines. So where do you start somebody when you're trying to explore this? Because I know my audience is kind of going, okay, but how would I figure this out? Like what would I know to do if I want to have a really high energy day and be kind of, like really aggressive, and I got to do some really, really like persistent things today? How would I know what I want? How would I know what's going to work for me? Or if I need to have, as you put it, like a softer day that's more creative and has some introspective time, and you've got 2 or 3 hours set aside to do some creative work, what would you need there? How do you ask specific questions? Do you kind of have, these are the half a dozen things that I know work? Or how would you set that up for somebody?
So you always want to start with, where are you at right now? What are you doing right now? Because that's important to know. Because for some people, they may have tried all the things. For some people, they may have tried only things in a certain area. So they might have only ever tried the very masculine type of morning routines of like, well, I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to go, do some really intense journaling and affirmations. And maybe I follow Tony Robbins and I do some priming and I really get my energy and my body activated.
Right.
But they've maybe never tried.
A pool full of ice and freeze myself.
God, I love cold plunges. Love the cold plunges.
Do you?
Oh my God, so much.
Okay, I have to admit, like, as we go off topic here for a second, they terrify me. They scare the crap out of me.
So good.
Is
so good.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to
It's
fall
a mindset switch, but once you get in it, you're hooked. You're hooked.
Okay. Like, because my shower at home, it takes quite a while to get warm. I don't know. It's like the water's got to go down 3 doors. Quote unquote cold shower because I'm waiting for the water to warm up. And yeah, I haven't been able to do it very often I feel like I'm going to hyperventilate myself.
It's definitely a process, like most things, right? But so people often, have only ever tried one particular way of doing this, and they haven't ever tapped into the other. Or if they have, they've tried everything, or they've tried to do everything all at once as well. Like in one morning routine, I'm going to meditate, but I'm also going to exercise, but I'm also going to journal, but I'm also going to go dip in the cold plunge. And your body is just and your entire body is just confused, basically. It's like, what do you want from me? What are we trying to do right now? Because one moment you're trying to like connect to yourself and really find that peace and that stillness, and the next moment you're dumping yourself in the cold plunge and your entire nervous system is like, what? Like,
what
I can't.
The heck are you doing here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's the first thing, is you want to start with, where are you at? What are you doing? What do you already understand about this process? And then it's like looking at, okay, what's not working? What's just not, like, you're doing something, you're doing this particular part of the routine and it's not moving the needle forward at all. You feel like, okay, I've done my meditation, but I don't feel any different. I've gone and, done the cold plunge. It's very hard not to feel different after that. That will pretty much always make you feel different.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's like, well, is it actually changing my state? Is it actually changing my energy? Do I actually feel like this is setting me up in some way? And
Right.
that's when you can start to narrow it down a little bit of like, okay, yeah, you know what? When I do this, I end up feeling like this. When I do this, I end up feeling like that. And you start to get this sort of list of things of, okay, so I remember when I did these certain things, I got really, really excited and I felt really like just tapped in. I had lots of energy. I felt like I could just, like my mind was really clear, all of that kind of stuff. I felt really amazing that day that I then went and did a podcast, or that I did a live stream, or that I, went and, did some more selling activities or whatever it is. I felt really awesome. That's
Hmm.
the kind of stuff that activates me for that. And then
Okay.
flip it around and go, okay, well, you know what? On this day when I did these other things, that was the day that I felt actually really intuitive, really calm. Like I felt like I could see the bigger picture of the whole business. I could see how everything was really going to come together. I was more in that leadership of like, okay, how am I actually leading this business and leading this growth? And it felt very calm and very grounded. So by kind of starting to look at those things, you start to see those patterns, and then it becomes easier and easier to go, okay, so I don't need to do all these things every single day over and over. I just need to do the things that work. That's it.
For what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
Right. You know what's great about this is that I think genius is often found in simple solutions to what people have turned into complex problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, in the end, if you look at Thomas Edison, like, the reason the light bulb works is because there was no air in the bulb, so there was nothing to burn, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it turns out to be a really simple solution as to why the light bulb
Mm.
worked. He had the concept for years, but it took him 10,000 iterations to go,
Yeah.
right, just take the air out so things don't burn. Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just these simple solutions. And what I love about what you're talking about right now is that it's a relatively simple thing that is like, build a morning routine that's custom to you, but
Mm-hmm.
custom to your day. Like, you go, okay, what
Mm-hmm.
am I going to accomplish today? What type of day am I going to have? And I know that I get pumped up with these specific things, working out, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Therefore, today, because I have to do X, I'm going to put with those specific things in my morning routine. And I'm not going to do some of these other elements that put me in a different state of mind. I think it's great. I think it's totally great.
Yeah.
So
And it's so
now,
adaptable as well. Like, I just wanted to add in that, because one of the things that people often struggle with is, okay, so now I know the things that are going to help me to feel
mhm,
XYZ for today. What happens if I can't do it? What happens if I have a morning where my time is suddenly, like, something comes up and I just don't have the time anymore, and I was going to do this and now I can't? The joy of this is that because you're so tapped into, wait, what is it that I'm trying to get out of this?
yep,
You get to find other ways to do it. And you get more and more, it becomes easier and easier to find these things. So say I'm used to, like, I have a cold plunge at home or something, and I'm used to being able to use that. And then suddenly I'm traveling and I don't have access to that. Okay, cool. What is it that I'm actually trying to get out of it though? I'm trying to get my nervous system to
mm,
respond, to regulate, to make myself basically do the hard things so that the things throughout the day get easier. That's my outcomes. That's what I'm getting out of it. Cool.
right,
What can I do this morning that's hard to get myself that same feeling, that same result? And then can I, just jump in the shower in the hotel room and do some cold water that way so that I have a similar reaction physiologically as well?
right.
It becomes so adaptable because you're like, I know what my result is that I want, so I can adapt it to my circumstance right now.
And so let me ask, because I think that's brilliant, Anna. So let me ask, like, how long does it take you to work with a client to sort of develop these things? And is that a big core of what your coaching is about? Is helping them establish this stuff?
It is, and it isn't.
Yeah,
it's
fair.
it's
Yeah.
definitely, it comes back to it a lot because it's not necessarily even just morning routines, like it's then evening routines, and it's also very much just your daily habits and routines, because
Mm,
that's the thing, is it feeds into it. If you set yourself up well, then you're going to find that throughout the day you're creating better habits and routines for yourself anyway. You're creating better habits about when you're going to be eating, what type of food you're eating, how much
Sure.
water you're drinking, how you're moving your body. All of these things start to feed into it because you're energetically, you're feeling good and you're feeling like, yep, I'm moving forward. I'm like actually feel like I'm doing something here.
Got it.
Whereas when you don't have that set up, you're kind of already starting on the back foot. And so you're always throughout the day just trying to pick yourself back up. Like, oh, now I feel sluggish because I can't, and I have to try and figure out how to make myself feel more, alive and more energetic. But I didn't do anything in the morning to actually activate that. So it does come into it a lot. But then it starts to kind of become, like I said, because this is about setting yourself up for the rest of the day. It's not just the morning routine for the sake of the morning routine. It's the morning routine for the sake of what's coming for your day.
Yeah. For a result that you're looking for the activity you're going to do, that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Okay. So let me ask a sort of a different angle question here. Because when you and I were talking, you had talked to me about the idea that a lot of people get trapped in doing what others want them to do. Right? What others are, whether they're like directly telling them, whether it's, as you said, you're watching, a wonderful person like a Tony Robbins and they're telling you to do X, but this is what they want you to do, right? This is their stuff. And because you had said to me that this was something that you felt stuck in at times in your own life. How did you break it, Anna? Like, how did you get out of, because a lot of people wind up being stuck there. Like, as much as they feel like they're making their own independent choices, they're actually making a lot of choices that are just, this is what I've always done. So they're kind of a slave to their own routines, we talked about, or they're following a mentor or a guru or a boss or whatever so specifically that if they wouldn't do that thing, they're just not going to do it, regardless of how authentic it is to them. So how did you navigate through that? And because to come up with this idea, you got to carve out your own vision a little bit. So how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, a bit of a longer journey for me. And it's a lot of the work I do with my clients now is really getting out of that mindset of that there's a guru or that there's someone who knows better than you because they've done it, for example. So just because this person is huge and has done this so many times and runs these massive seminars with thousands of people and does these particular like techniques and everything with them, that doesn't mean that I need to take it word for word and just that's the only way that I'm going to get that result,
Love
especially
that.
when it's not working. Like, that's the thing, is like having that self-awareness, and that's on those more intuitive days, which is why I really think they're very important as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. You can't just be gung-ho, let's do it, let's just, action every day. If you don't have those internal days where you can actually have that self-awareness and that time with yourself to ask, what's really working here and what's not working? And am I actually getting anything out of this, or am I just the hamster in the wheel, just going around in circles for the joy of going around in circles? Because that's literally what hamsters do.
And the business becomes their boss. Like, they're just basically they're just doing all of those activities, like just routinely hammering away at it. Yeah.
And so it's that awareness of like, okay, so is this actually working for me? And if not, what do I need to change in this? And taking away as well, just like really understanding that every single person that you're learning from, they've been on their own journey. And at some point, they worked out what works for them. That's why Tony talks about it. That's why these books are written about it. That's why these other people talk about it, because they worked out what works for them and they love it so much that they want to share it with others because they want to help. But I've never heard any one of them actually say, this is the only thing that will work for you. And if they have, they are like run in the opposite direction.
Yeah. You know what I love about that is that, because I think Anna, and I mean, I don't know whether you feel this way or not, but I think on some level we've twisted this ideology that success leaves clues.
Yes.
Right? You've heard this before. I've heard this before thousands and thousands of times. Like, success leaves clues. And it does, right? But we're picking up the wrong clue. Like, we're like, so many people, they go, oh, success leaves clues, therefore I need to do what this person did. But the clue is, as you just put it, that person got quiet. They got still and they figured out what really worked for them. That's the clue.
Yeah.
It's not copy them. right? It's practice the activity of, well, as the wonderful Napoleon Hill says, think and grow rich, right? It's not
Yeah.
act and grow rich. It's not copy and grow rich. It's not model and grow rich. It's
Mm.
think and grow rich. And I think what you just hit on there, and as I'm rephrasing it back, is like, yeah, so many people get stuck misinterpreting what the term success leaves clues actually means. And they get
Mm.
stuck in this idea of, I need to, in order to be successful like Anna is, I need to do exactly what Anna does.
Yes.
No, you need to do what she's telling you to do, which is spend some time. Think, invest
Mm-hmm.
in understanding who you are and what you actually
Mm-hmm.
want out of life this year, this day, and reverse engineer what you need in order to accomplish that thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's anyway. That just dawned on me that as we're talking here, it's like, right, we've kind of
Yep.
misinterpreted, or it's easy, right? It's the easy way through is to go, oh, I'm
Mm.
just going to do what Tony Robbins does. Well, yeah, but Tony Robbins is a completely different. I mean, he's like 8.5 feet tall, so like chase everything. But it's like we can't all do that. It won't work for all of us, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even, even Tony, like I remember, because I learned, like I said, he was probably my first kind of foray into the personal development world. I was ridiculously young when I started reading
Mm,
his books, like, yeah, everything. And I loved it because I loved how he shared his story and how he came to that. And even now when I read about or see, things about him and his morning routine, and he's very clear that, the reason that he does the gratitudes or whatever it is because he found throughout the day that he was missing out on that connection with people. Once his day got up and running,
mm,
he realized that it got so out of control that he didn't have a moment just to be present and to just say thank you to some people. And so he implemented that into his morning routine to say, you know what, I'm going to every
right,
morning, one of my routines is I send a message or whatever to like 3 people to say thank you for something. And I've seen a
right.
lot of other entrepreneurs pick this up, which is awesome. But again, it worked because he saw the need in his day. He's like, there's something missing here. And so what am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? Well, I'm going to make this a priority in my morning so that it sets me up in that way. It
Mm,
doesn't mean that you have to go and now every single morning message 3 people to say thank you just because Tony said to do it. The reason it
right.
worked for him is because he saw that need in himself.
Yeah.
And so on the days when you feel that need, go for it. But on the days when you're literally waking up and having to force yourself into it, it's probably not getting you the result you wanted.
Right. Right. So then what do you say to the people, for example, that go, yeah, but you got to grind away at these things and it's in the repetition of whatever behavior that is that I'm going to have that eureka moment, or it's sure it didn't work for me days 43 through 68, but because I've pounding at it by day 90, it feels this good. Like, what do you say to those people when they have that response?
I say if all it ever took for anyone to get what they wanted was to just redo the same thing over and over, everyone would be successful. Because,
Yeah.
okay, maybe not everyone, but everyone who has the capacity for discipline, and this does vary a lot between males and females as well, because our
Okay.
energetic signatures are slightly different, and so men can get a lot more result from that sort of mindset and that sort of drive a lot
Okay.
faster than women will because our energy is just not quite matched for that all the time.
Okay.
But even for men, what happens, because I've coached a lot of men that have gotten to this point where they have just like, no, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do it, I'm going to like every
Right.
single day, I'm going to just grind through it and I'm going to make it happen. And they get some level of result from it, or they get the very close to the result that they're after without realizing that the rest of their life has fallen apart in the midst of that
Mm,
because they have just so deeply honed in on just this one thing that they're like, okay, awesome. I've now built this. I've created this. But, oh, by the way, my wife's just decided she wants a divorce today. My
right.
kids no longer speak to me. I've realized I have a dad bod because I didn't prioritize that because I just went all in on this.
Right.
Or, even if they maintain their physical fitness or whatever, again, they don't like themselves anymore because they've forgotten what it is that they're doing this for. And
Hmm.
so there has to be that balance, even when you're driven, even when you're like yes, let's make it happen. I'm focused, I'm determined, I'm disciplined, I've got the routines, I'm making it happen. If you don't make any space whatsoever for that self-reflection at all, um, every single time you completely end up not knowing yourself, and then you feel like you have to start again because you're like, I've built my own jail, basically.
Right. Well, and as you put it in our conversation before, you like they get you help so many entrepreneurs that just feel so burnt out. Like they feel like
Mm.
they have burnt the candle at seven different ends. They're like running absolutely on empty for years at a time.
Mm.
And as you
Yeah.
just put it, they feel shackled, trapped, completely imprisoned by the business and lifestyle that they chose to create. Right.
Yeah. Because when you build it in that energy and in that complete just over and over sacrifice, even if you get the goal that you're wanting originally, guess how that's
Mm,
going to feel? It's going to feel like sacrifice. It's not
yeah.
going to feel like, oh, liberation and freedom, I've now arrived. You're just going to realize that, oh, I've just really trapped myself in this. Now all I can do is go harder, because I have no other avenue. I haven't actually set up my lifestyle to work with me and to help me and to
Mm.
feel like I'm actually getting anywhere. I've
Do
just
you
gone for
find
this goal and now I'm trapped.
Yeah, do you find that a lot, Anna? That some of these people, they kind of double down, like they just like, oh
Oh,
man, I'm
yeah.
here and now, I'm just gonna have to go even further. Clearly, here was like this spot in the journey didn't make me happy. It's got to be that
Yeah.
spot in the journey that's gonna make. Is that kind of what the mentality becomes?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been through that myself as well, of just like, when I get there, things will be different. When I get there, I'll
Yes.
be able to relax. When I get there, I'll be able to focus more on this. When I get there, I'll be able to, really start to enjoy things again. And then you
So how
get
did you
there
shake off
and
that mindset?
yeah.
Because I know you don't live that way now. So
Mm.
I mean, I've experienced that myself, right? Oh, I'll be happier when. How did you shake it off? How did you let it go? Or have you been able to let it go?
I got really sick of arriving at these destinations and still feeling the same, which
Oh,
was not good enough.
yeah.
Still not enough, still not enough. And it happened enough times for me to go, this isn't working. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm just repeating this pattern over and over, expecting a different result, obviously it's actually leading to insanity, because I got there so many times and just went, once again, I don't feel any different. Once again, I still feel pressured. Once again, I can't even enjoy the moment of success because
Yeah.
my mind has already put that as, well, now that you've achieved that, it's obviously not that good. So come on, next step. Where are we going next? And it was realizing that it's like, well, this isn't going to stop. This isn't going to stop until I stop it.
And so did you implement like a pattern interrupt in your life? Was there something that you started to practice? I mean, maybe not every day was a morning routine, but you know what I mean? Like what was it that suddenly helped you snap that rubber band and shift that?
It was really tapping into the energy of celebration. It was something I never used to do.
Yeah,
I
I don't do
used
that
to,
either
like I
enough.
said, I would
Yeah.
get to the success,
Yeah.
acknowledge it, maybe be like, woohoo, go me. And then straight away, like without a beat in between, it was, what's next? What's the
What's
next
next?
step?
Yeah.
And I realized that it was that was keeping me from actually enjoying the journey and actually feeling
Mm,
like, you know what, rather than just having 3.5 seconds when I succeed at something that I can enjoy it and then I'm back into struggle and sacrifice, how do I actually get to a point where the whole journey feels like success and happiness? And then
mhm.
it's just like extra success when it actually reaches it. And it was that sort of mindset shift of like, okay, I need to start getting into this energy of gratitude and of celebration of
Right.
whenever, like every little thing in my life, not just the big goals that I have, but literally on a daily basis of like, what am I celebrating today? What is
Mm,
something that's just really juicy for me, that's like really lighting me up today? Maybe it's a conversation that I had. Maybe it's Matt and I, my husband and I, got to snuggle on the couch and just relax for a few hours, and
right.
I'm just like really just feeling into it and like, this is fantastic. Like, people dream about this kind of a relationship, and I'm
Mm.
just here reveling in it. Like, just getting into that real celebration and enjoying those things makes it so much easier, because then when you actually get somewhere and you have a success that's really big, you can extend it. You can really
Right.
enjoy it. And that just brings the next level faster and faster. because you're
Oh, I
out
love
of
it.
that pattern of sacrifice and you're in
Love
that
it.
pattern of celebration instead.
I love it. And it's funny because what you just said there, as a parent of two very little kids, it's like I'm pardon me, I'm practicing things with them that I don't even
Mm.
sometimes practice often enough with myself. Like,
Yep.
it's like I want Alex, my son, to feel like every day was fun and there was something amazing out of every day. And yet I toss that aside for myself stupidly, foolishly. I'm like, whatever.
Yep.
Didn't accomplish as much today as right. And yet there I am at the end of the night, tucking him in, kissing him on the forehead, go, okay, so what was your favorite part of today? Like, we're celebrating something from today or at dinner or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was. And I think that's those, I'm so aware of how I want to influence him so that
Yeah.
he grows up celebrating his days and having lots of confidence, right, and courage to go out after and do what he wants to do. And yet that same practice, as you were just so beautifully putting it, I think a lot of us need to like point that back towards ourselves and go, gosh,
Mm.
celebrate,
It's funny.
what you've done here, right? Enjoy
Yeah,
it.
it's funny that you mention like children because so I don't have any children and that's by choice and I don't want to.
Mhm.
But I have worked with a lot of parents and you have a lot of people, that are in the, entrepreneur business space that are like, I'm only going to learn from someone who also has children because otherwise they're not going to understand what I go through. And
Yeah,
I understand where that comes from. However,
sure.
a lot of my clients have, strangely enough, ended up, they are parents, and the work that I've done with them has shifted their relationship with their children more than
Yeah,
so many other things. Because, like, there was one particular client that I absolutely loved that I worked with who she was struggling with implementing her morning routine because she has two young children and they're very
sure.
young and they're always, they're up early and they want to do things and they want mummy's attention. And she was like, but I really want to do this. Like, I know this is going to make me a better person. This is going to make me a better mum and a better human and a better business owner, but I don't know
Hmm.
how to. And we worked on implementing and teaching, like letting her children be a part of this and letting her children
Mm.
understand, like speaking to them that, you know what, mummy's going to go do some meditation because this is what it's going to feel like. And then mummy feels really energized and she feels like really nice and she's going to be able to look after you all day. And she wants to pull some oracle cards because she wants to feel connected and that there's like some sort of
Yeah.
message for her. And within a few weeks, her children had started taking on all of these traits. So her little daughter would get up and bring her like a cup of green tea.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a bit cold because she's not boiling the water herself.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
she would
Okay.
bring her mum, she would wake up and she would bring the cup in. She wouldn't disturb her, first thing in the morning and say, Mummy, here's your tea. Can I do the meditation with you? And she'd sit
Mm.
down and, she'd be completely quiet. They'd just breathe together. And then her son would come in and go, Mummy, I think this oracle deck, you should pull a card from this deck today. And
Right.
they just fell in love with that process with their mum and they saw how it helped her and how it helped the way that their relationship was going and they wanted to be a part of it, right?
Right.
And I think we often, especially as say we, again, I'm not a parent, but I think parents often think that it's at an odds, like they're fighting against their children's wants and needs and then
Sure.
their wants and needs. And it's like, well, no, you're shaping them. If you're teaching them and showing them that prioritizing yourself and actually taking that time for yourself is important because of who it makes you for the rest of the day, they're going to want to do that too. They're going to want to
Yeah.
say, you know what, Mummy, I want to meditate with you too because I don't want to feel frazzled all day. I want to feel like I have energy for playing. So
Yeah.
they pick up on this so easily. And it's purely in our own heads that we stop ourselves from doing that because we think, no, we're working against them instead of working with them.
Love it. That's so
Yeah.
wonderful, and it's so true. I some of my clients have said something similar to me. I can't do this because of my kids, and my answer to them is, why don't you do it because of your kids? Like, instead of can't do it, why
Mm-hmm.
don't you do it? Because So I love it. I think it's great. Okay, so final few questions. This has been great, Anna. I hope you had a great time. It's been fantastic. Um,
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you want to find out more about Anna and what she does, she's giving you a free, phenomenal masterclass here on how to prioritize you, how to make you important to you. because as we just talked about, a lot of people, they have trouble with this particular concept. So check it out. You can see right down there in the ticker across the bottom here. So if you want to pop over to there, just follow the URL. If you're watching this live, write it down really quickly. If you are watching the replay of this, just pause the video right now, right here, and grab that and type it out, screenshot it, whatever you're going to do. But check out the masterclass. It's totally free. Anna's giving that to you, our amazing audience here. We do have some people that are watching this. They've been watching live. We have several people watching us live here, Anna. So if you guys have any final questions for Anna about our topics today, which, I mean, I love the ground that we covered. I mean, it started out talking about morning routines, but really it just went into this wonderful conversation about, how to really, as your masterclass says, prioritize you and what you want to accomplish, and make sure that you're setting your life, your daily life up for accomplishing those things. Because here's the thing, my friends, as a good buddy of mine always says, the present is a gift because it's the present, right? Like, you don't have anything else. Like, tomorrow doesn't exist right now. Yesterday, sucker's gone. So, you got to do what you want to do for yourself today to get the best out of you today. So I love that message, John. It's been brilliant. So my final few questions for you. Anyway, 2025, holy cow, right? So it's January 25th for you. So January 25th, 2025, what has Anna T. Brooks accomplished? What's the big audacious goal that you've been able to accomplish?
Ooh, a good one. Okay, so 1 year. I think the biggest one for me is in regards with my business, to have grown it to 6 figures and well beyond, and just increasing the amount of impact and the amount of beautiful souls that I'm able to reach and support and help. That's the vision.
Love it. Beautiful. Okay. And then if people want to get a hold of you, obviously you have the masterclass here. But my other question to you is where's the best place to get a hold of yourself?
Probably on Facebook. That's where most of the content, easiest to track me down. It's just Anna T. Brooks on Facebook. I don't think there's any other Anna T. Brookses at this stage, so makes it nice and easy to find. Okay. And that's the best way to just check out everything that I'm doing. Jump in my Facebook group, just get connected, have a chat, all the fun things.
Okay, perfect. Excellent, great. My mom is watching, so thanks, Mom, for watching. So she says, hi. Wonderful guest. You're brilliant. So
thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Gotta love moms. So she does. She's been having a good time the whole time. And then my last and final question for you, Anna, is: can we get you back on the show as we keep going forward here?
Absolutely. My gosh, okay. Absolutely. I love this. Yeah. I love this. And right. I feel like we've just started, opened up one area, and it's like now there's so many more that we can riff off, and
we can dive down. I would love to. Yeah, because I think you and I would have some great conversations about how entrepreneurs set objectives and set goals, and how just even the way they do it can be so destructive and so counterintuitive to accomplishing them. So, because I think you and I probably have some good thoughts on that one too. So, it's been excellent. So, once again, everybody, this has been the incredible and the amazing Anna T. Brooks. If you want to check out her masterclass, please do. It is a Prioritizing You masterclass. You'll see it down across the bottom, across the ticker there. So go check that out. You can find her on Facebook as well. And then beyond that, you guys, I hope you got great value out of today. If you have any questions, fire them over to Anna. I'm sure she is more than willing to jump on those things and answer anything you got. And she takes clients from everywhere, you guys. So just because she's in Australia, we can't judge her. All right. So she's coming all the way over from the ocean. That's my worst Australian accent ever. But I don't even know.
Pretty terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. But she takes clients from all over the map, you guys. So reach out to her and grab that free masterclass on Prioritizing You. And then other than that, my friends, thank you very much for being on the show, Anna. It's amazing having you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so once again, everybody, my name is Michael Bridgman, and this has been another episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle. So go out there, my friends, enchant your audience, make some magic happen, and we will see you on the next show. Ciao for now.